the Scottish Cup quarter-final draw. That was last night. And Mick on Record Sport Online today, a big story regarding the Rangers versus Celtic game, which will be on, we don't know yet, March 7th or 8th, isn't it? It's not something decided.
March 8th, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But a big news today regarding the tickets and Celtic's allocation. Can you tell us any more?
Well, it's early days. This is going to rumble on for a few weeks, I think, this one, the ticket thing, because obviously under the Scottish Cup rules, you can apply for 20% of the capacity, which at Ibrox would be over 10,000. It's given the fact that Celtic haven't had anywhere near that number for a long time, makes it interesting because obviously they've got 2,000 going in the league game and coming up the week before, and they've had 750 since 2018 when the allocation was cut. So there's talk about. I mean, Celtic. I understand people I speak to in and around Celtic suggesting they're going to apply for the full whack and try and get 10,000, in the hope of getting the Broomloan Stand, which is 7.5. But I don't think that's guaranteed either. I mean, I think Rangers might be thinking we'll try and get the league allocation, because obviously it's not set in stone. They have to give 20,000. That's the 20%. There is wiggle room if there's safety concerns or segregation issues or stadium issues, and plus the police have got to get involved. But so Celtic are going to ask the question. We want the 10k, thanks very much, and then we'll see how Rangers respond. I suspect what might happen is they might end up with the league allowance with the 2,500 or 2,000, because they've got the nets and all that and the segregation already in place for that league game the week before. I expect that I think Rangers might go for that. It might mean the SFA need to step in. There might be a compromise. I don't know, but we're heading for another Old Firm ticket war, which is another story. But that's the way it's going to head, I think.
In the comments, Rangers is okay says, I've no issue giving them the Broomloan rules, but will they fill it? I thought there was a boycott on. Great chance for us to ruin their season in a week, and if 7k of them are in tears, great. That's the kind of real pettiness that I think we all strive for. That is some run of games for Celtic. I mean, 4 away in a row, Stuttgart, Rangers twice, in Aberdeen. Look, that's tough. That's tough for any Celtic team.
Yeah, I think when you look at the games in importance, I think you would put the Stuttgart one in the least important. I don't think Celtic are going to win the Europa League. So whether they play a weakened team, I don't know. The Stuttgart away, whether they play their full strength team, they've got Rangers back to back coming up and Aberdeen in between the league. You know, the league is the bread and butter for Celtic this season, and obviously the cup as well. So yeah, I think that's going to be put a pivotal, time in Rangers season and in Celtic season. Rangers have got an opportunity to knock Celtic out of the cup and pick up 3 points to go ahead in the title race, or it could be vice versa. So that is a massive, 10 days for Celtic coming up with those games. But that's what we want. We want to see big games. We want to see games that mean something, and that's why this title race this season is exciting for everyone, every supporter. Because you don't want dead rubbers. You don't want Celtic 10, 15, 20 points clear. Nothing to play for. Rangers second and a fight for third. You've got 3 legitimate title contenders going hammer and tongs at it. And I think that's brilliant for Scottish football.
And in the comments, Mick, AF Scott says Rangers look a real physically imposing side now. It's night and day from the start of the season when McCoy's referred to them as looking like wee boys. I do think that's a point. I mean, it's always going to be a tough game for Celtic at Ibrox. But particularly now, Nadiri, Chukwani, Rangers look a different prospect.
Well, Celtic all season have looked vulnerable from set pieces. So who is the least, the team they want to face the least is Rangers, who have been lethal at set pieces. I mean, see the 8 goals? Am I right in saying that 5 of them for set pieces on Sunday against Queen's Park?
I think you're right.
Crosses.
I mean, they've obviously brought in their set piece guru, who's working wonders. Celtic have been vulnerable. I mean, Celtic not the biggest side anyway. I mean, I think you can tell some of the signs that come in January. Martin was after some height. I mean, Adamu's about 6 foot odd. Chankara's 6 foot odd. So you tell he wanted height in the team because he had a real lack of height up to that point. But you've got to see Rangers will be fancying it. I mean, the other team in form, and Celtic are a bit of a mystery. But this run of fixtures is fairly brutal. I mean, Celtic need to get through. I mean, Livingston Wednesday night, and Kelly on Sunday. They need to get through that first of all with 6 points. That's a given. You have to win those 2 games, and then you get Hibs, Stuttgart, Rangers, Stuttgart, then Rangers again, then Mull a week after that as well. Aberdeen, in there. It's going to. That's what I'm saying about these new signings. Martin O'Neill's going to have to kind of rotate his squad and use every player he's got. So they're all going to need to step up. There's no room for any passengers, and there's little margin there. I think Tam's right. I think the European ones, it was probably a game they could do without. That draw in Bologna that were celebrating was probably the worst result they could have had.
They wouldn't play a weakened team though, would they?
No, I don't think it's hard to really, because I mean a lot of you guys haven't been registered for the Europa League, so they can't even play them anyway.
Oh, that's true.
You see the second half against Utrecht the other week. Maybe Martin said to him at half time, boys, right, come on, let's not be silly here. 3-0 in 20 minutes. I just think that's going to listen. It's going to be a monumental kind of 10 days for Celtic. I mean, it literally could make or break the season. I mean, it could fire them towards a potential double, or it could leave the campaign in absolute ruins. So it's blockbuster stuff, but I'd imagine Martin O'Neill would be thinking, "Oh no, that draw was the last thing he needed at that point in time." But the rest of us can sit back and lap it up, but he'll be having sleepless nights, I think.